This morning, reports came out around donors to President Cyril Ramaphosa's CR17 campaign. Let's get some analysis on this from Ongama Mtimka. He joins us via Skype. Thanks so much for your time on SABC News. Talk to us about the impact of a story like this on the political landscape in South Africa.
Thank you so much, Nzing, and good evening to you and your viewers. So this is an important story in the sense that it is exposing some of the aspects of democracy which are not usually in the public domain. And also it shows the extent to which realist politics, as opposed to the politics of morality and idealism, influence outcomes of ANC processes, contrary to what were the expectations of the public in terms of the styles of campaigning that were associated with each of the candidates that were contesting. The key issues here are that one, the toxic nature in which campaigning happens in the ANC is laid out to bear, really, and I'm saying the ANC because it even long before the coming out of details of this nature about President Cyril Ramaphosa's campaign, there have been allegations that ahead of ANC conferences, you have people who play instrumental roles on behalf of candidates going around with car boots full with money and going around buying votes. So when details of this nature come, they confirm that what are outcomes of ANC election processes are in fact real politic and the politics of power and the nexus between power and money, as opposed to purely the will of the people, whatever that it may be regarded to be in the ANC politics, which tends to be very much controlled from top down, and money plays an instrumental role.
The presidency releasing a statement last night before this leak saying that they believe that the conduct has been ethical and that there's been no wrongdoing done. Is a sufficient response to this kind of information coming out?
Two things for me. So the president is rightly concerned from a legal and due process point of view. And I think they are raising those things up front so that they can use some of the arguments in the legal processes that they have raised. But the importance of this information from a political as well as public interest point of view goes beyond the questions of ethics. It has come to be known in South Africa that had the media played by the rule in terms of not leaking or you making use of information that has come to it via leaks, we would never have known about the full extent of state capture, even in the Zuma years. So those questions of legality and ethics are questions which must be answered by, and people must be held accountable, but in the platforms of courts of law. But outside of that, I don't think the media, as well as those who want to formulate opinions on the basis of information of this nature coming into the public domain, should actually be limited by those ethical considerations, because the public interest is greater here than the ethical considerations, which, by the way, must be upheld in a court of law. But in the realm of holding politicians accountable, these are very useful. But what I note very interestingly is that the tone of the ANC, I listened to Pulemabe speaking earlier on, has changed slightly from the strongly factional pro-Ace Magashule line, if that's fair to him, to a more balanced view that gives a benefit of doubt both to the president and to Busisiwe Mkhwebane. And I think as a governing party, they are maintaining a much welcome middle ground, because they must give space to these processes to reach their end before they actually take whatever action may be necessary, given the fact that the environment is already toxic and one in which there are two camps that are allegedly fighting against each other in the party.
With the two parties, we also know that President Cyril Ramaphosa and Advocate Busisiwe Mkhwebane perhaps are going through quite a challenge. I think there's a battle that's going to be taking place in court tomorrow. What does this do for the political landscape when the head of state and the head of a Chapter 9 institution that are very important are obviously at odds with each other?
It's important that the institutional integrity of both the Office of the Public Protector and that of the President is maintained. And if conflict or disagreement is part of the process, I think we must be comfortable and patient enough as South Africans to allow that to play itself out, notwithstanding the unease that it is causing. Because you see, in a democracy, institution making doesn't end when institutions are designed. Part of the research we are making within this discipline of political science is looking at the behavior of particular individuals when they are in those institutions and the flair they add in helping either to weaken or to strengthen the institution. I have no doubt that after what seems to be a very toxic conflict, what we will have beyond President Cyril Ramaphosa and Busisiwe Mkhwebane is a resilient political system whose loopholes, having been exposed through this process, would have been strengthened, and in the end, you will have a stronger political system. It may be, though, that the effect of this, especially if the allegations that are coming out as a result of the revelations from the president's contributions can be proved to have been illegal one way or another, then the ramifications are that you will have a protracted period of instability politically. But I argue that that's important to shake the political system so that what remains ultimately is a very strong political system. If it must be the end of the ANC as a result of this process, so be it. We would rather have a governing party that confronts and fights so that the integrity of the political system itself is retained.
Ongama Mtimka, thanks so much for your time.